months, she could put together 110 milligrams of carbon nanotubes, which for basic research it was great, but for application it was ridiculous. And we wanted to go towards application. Not only we, but it was the leading phrase worldwide that carbon nanotubes are very good for applications. But without large-scale production, it's not serious to claim applications. So I invited Clary to come to Lausanne and to install the CVD synthesis. And the first work what she did, or we did, it was with the group of Professor Kern, Klaus Kern, and it was the deposition of carbon nanotubes on predefined structures. So the catalyst was deposited on dedicated places on the substrate, and carbon nanotubes were grown. So you see, we didn't make a big news out of the growth. It was aligned growth already. It was not very tall, the carbon nanotubes, but already they were very good for field emission properties. And I think this paper has got a very good mileage. We are over 150 citations, so it's still I think, very well appreciated. So this was the first one. The second one is what we did with Laszlo. So that was a time when we thought that for photovoltaic applications, we can use a reaction center proton which has a quantum efficiency of 1, close to 1. It means that one photon produces 1 electron. Just one has to evacuate these photoelectrons. And carbon nanotubes are conductors, so they are the highways to bring out charges. That was the idea, and Laszlo will speak much more in details. So what we realized in those days that the competition is very strong. And it was an unfair competition, I would say. They start to top us, everywhere. And we learned why, because in Lausanne and other places, there is a very strong activity on that. And I was surprised that on this topic, EPFL has hired recently a new professor in chemistry. And this is the carbon nanostructures combined with proteins, biomaterials. So it's still very, very good topic for researchers. And then also what Clary said, that to covering carbon nanotubes, single wall or multi-wall with composite with different materials. Here I highlight the titanium dioxide. Why? Because of its photocatalytic activity. So this was also, that was and is still, I think, the topic of research. So now I will give just few facts what I think is important for this collaboration. The first is that it's highly interdisciplinary. And so it involves chemists, physicists, biophysicists, engineers, etc. And nowadays, when we are talking about science at nanoscales, science for applications, then it's indispensable to have such kind of collaboration and communication. And I think this is an important fact. So we gathered the competencies of Szeged, and of my lab, and I think it was very profitable. And also it's important to mention that in the proposal we put mostly basic research, fundamental research, but fundamental research which is close to applications, because just basic research for itself, it's not very appealing for us, at least not for me. And one more thing which is important, that for students, it's very appealing. So in my group, in my lab, I have many students who are coming for master degree or master project for 4-year practical work, and they love our group because we have basic research but has a projection to applications, and I think this is very appealing. And this is, and this new feature, I think, has spinned up since the arrival of Ende to Lausanne, because Ende has very good ideas, a lot of ideas, bridging fundamental with applied research. So at the beginning we were providing nanostructures, titanium dioxide, nanowires, nanotubes, carbon nanotubes at large scales, also on kilogram level, and then we produced the carpets, and it was mastered by Arnaud Magrez, who developed method not just to make carpet, but make a long carpet and highly ordered, well-ordered, high-quality structures. And lately we graphene, and lately graphene. Okay. And also the beginning it was from Lausanne, but the knowledge and the technology was transferred to Szeged. And this is also an important feature of this collaboration. That nowadays they do titanium dioxide nanowires, and especially carpets. As you have seen from the presentation of Clara, they master at very high level the growth of these carbon nanotubes and even carbon nanotubes, spirals, etc. And so training in Lausanne, I think, is also important. It was important for the young people. So many of them came. I don't have a full list. Dóra Fejes, Zoltán Németh, Kathajdó, Egon Kecsinevics, Zsuzsana Kozmér, who is doing experiments. I mean, the last 2 weeks she was mostly in the lab, and many more. So I think the training in Lausanne, training in the lab, which has complementary competencies to Szeged, it was also very profitable for the young people. And we try to introduce them to broader Swiss context. So you have heard the SciEx funding agency. So we had already success with Zoltán Németh, but Dóra Fejes is in the lab thanks to the SciEx and thanks to our previous results on collaboration and on the output of the collaboration. And also we try to include other Swiss groups, for example, the Fribourg, Markus Boyce, just to mention one name, or the work on titanium dioxide is important for the Grätzel group, for photovoltaic devices. So I think this circle of people who have their contact with the researchers from Hungary are getting broader and broader. And this was the basis for new collaboration, new projects. So within Hungary, new collaborations, within Switzerland and between the two of us. So as Clara mentioned, we just got the approval of a joint project. So the Swiss proposal was entitled Vertical Line Carbon Nanotube Composite for Selective Current Collectors. And this is the Hungarian proposal funded by their national agency. And it is, we try to go beyond the titanium dioxide, beyond the carbon nanostructure. We are trying to go towards new topics for photovoltaic materials. It's called perovskites, which are in the last 2 years are absolutely the stars on the market of this energy conversion. We are doing a lot of the practical work, but also we are doing a lot of fundamental research. And you will hear during these 2 days few presentations from my group. And this is what we offered as a team of collaboration in this new stage of our projects. So this was my summary, my view, how did it go and why was it important. And now I give the floor to Ender, who will address a specific topic. And I will be happy to answer questions after